Hello and welcome to the studio where we paint away the stress of everyday life here in Wales. So I got a lot to talk about today. But first of all, I want to look at the palette, and as you can see it's completely empty. Now I've got a mind today to paint a seascape. Now when you think of seascapes you think of sea, foam, rocks, sky, what type of mood do you want to set, and that all comes together in your mind or on a drawing or whatever you've planned, and then you need to pick the colors, and the colors are very, very important. But don't be restricted. If you want to add other colors to your palette, then do that. I tend to work to a set palette because that's how I work. But if that's not how we work, then work the way that suits you. That's the most important thing. And above all, have fun.
So grab your brush, have a great time. And don't forget to click subscribe. Visit clyde5art.co.uk.
Okay, let's have a quick look at the colours. So today I've got a mind to paint some sort of a moody landscape. I'm just opening my can of drink. So I'm going to do some rocks. The first thing I want to do is maybe get a little bit of VANDYKE brown. If I haven't got any VANDYKE brown, get a little bit of burnt umber, add a small touch of black to it, and you'll get something like a burnt umber. It's just a darker. I find it's a slightly darker type of brown. So I got my two types of brown there. There we are. The other thing I want to do is add a little bit of, if I can find some, I know I got some here somewhere. I've got some Naples yellow. Have I got any Naples? I think I'll use Naples yellow. I'm just going to use a bit of Naples yellow. There we are, because I'm not going to search around for it. A little bit of Naples yellow. I'm using Galleria paints today, by the way, by Winsor & Newton, if you want to know what I'm using. I'm not using my own colours today. So maybe a little bit of yellow. Maybe a little bit of yellow. That's a CADMIUM yellow. Oops, excuse me. Bit of CADMIUM yellow. I'm thinking of some different types of blue. I got some ultramarine blue. There we go. Let's put a little bit of ultramarine blue there on the palette. Don't forget the sea isn't always blue. There's a little bit of green, so we can get away with adding some yellow to the blue to make like a green tinge to the water. It's a bit of ultramarine blue there. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of Prussian blue as well. There we are. Prussian blue. That's quite a nice dark colour. If I'm going to need Prussian blue, again, add a little bit of black to ultramarine blue, and it'll just darken it enough for you. And obviously white as well, I think. So that's the palette set up. Now you can set the palette up in any way you want. I just plonk the paint down where I think I'm going to be needing it. So don't overthink things. This is what I'm trying to say. Don't overthink your palette. Now if we can have a look at the board, I've got a little bit of cardboard today. The size of the cardboard, if you're interested, is a 10 by 15, is it? 10 by 12? 10 by about 10 by 14-ish. Doesn't really matter. If you're going to paint on cardboard, I suggest that what you could do is cut your cardboard to the size of a frame that is a standardized frame, 10 by 12 or something like that, or 15 by 12, I think it is. Get a standardized piece of cardboard, so when you paint your paintings, you can put that into a frame if you want to. So, okay, let's get started. As with everything, with a seascape, you need to think about, where's your sea going to be. So this is going to be your sky area. Obviously, that's going to be your sea area. So how small do you want the sky? How big do you want the sea? How big do you want the sky? How small do you want the sea? So I'm thinking possibly, roughly, there, maybe. A nice sea. And try and put this line in as straight as you can. that is very important with Seascapes, is the horizon line. The horizon line. Now you can put a little bit of masking tape or painter's tape across there, paint your sky, take your painter's tape off, and you'll have a dead straight line. I haven't got any masking tape here actually, or painter's tape, or whatever you call it in your country. So let's clean my brush, and I'm just going to grab some white on my brush like this. Grab a little bit of white, and I'm going to go a little bit of ultramarine blue there and a little bit of Prussian blue there. So a little bit of blue on each corner and white in the middle, and I'm going to start to put in my sky just like this. I'm not worrying too much about brushing out my brush strokes. I'm just adding a little bit more Prussian blue because I want a bit of a darker spot there. Don't forget, I got plenty of white paint on my brush. Now if you want to know how to help your paints from drying too fast, and you can see I got stuff there, I've also got some of this as well, which I'm not going to tell you. There we are, I got some of that. I'm not going to pronounce it because on another video I pronounced this wrong. And I'll tell you a story why I pronounced it wrong, but you need to add a little bit of that. Have a look at that video, I'll put it in the iCards, it'll explain all, but please, please, please remember, it is a that product there. There you go, readily available and safe. So what a lot of people don't know is that I got dyslexia, and I never knew what dyslexia was as a child, and I don't think, to be quite honest with you, many people did in my era, because I'm 60 years old now, and when I was in school it wasn't really diagnosed like that, like it is these days. It wasn't understood as much as it is these days, and I was just stuck in the back of the class in school, and they thought I was a little bit behind, a little bit backwards, a little bit thick, because I wasn't as bright as the other children, and that was mainly because I had dyslexia. I wasn't able to, and I'm still not able to, read very well, and I'm still not able to spell. I can't spell for a toffee, to be honest with you. It's something I just cannot, and never been able to do properly. You know, I thank Apple and Google for providing these tools on my iPhone and my computers and things, because I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for that. Now I have had help over the years to read and learn to read and things like that, but that's come in later life. Not when I was young. And there's certain things that, certain words I will bring your attention to, certain words like that you might be able to read it and understand what it says. I certainly can't, and sometimes what I see is not what's written, and that's just how it is. And it's the same with figures. Believe it or not, I have got a terrible problem with figures. I can't do mental arithmetic. I understand how, and I'm successful in a business. I got my own business outside of YouTube, and I'm quite successful in that, and I do all my own accounts, and I understand formulas and how things work. But give me a pen and a piece of paper and I cannot write it down, and I do not understand. I cannot see these things. It's a very difficult thing to try and explain. I cannot see what you see, and sometimes it's very difficult. Also, I had a stammer when I was in school, when I was young. I knew you catch me doing that sometimes, and a little bit of a stutter as well. And then that is over the years, as I've had to work really hard to try and overcome these things. And like, I'm 60 years old now, so you know, it doesn't really worry me anymore. But in school I was ridiculed and bullied, and you know, and children can be quite cruel. Children can be quite cruel in many aspects of life, especially when you're young and in school, and the understanding there wasn't there when we were children, as you know. So yeah, I don't apologize for things that I'm see, I don't apologize for things that I mispronounce, and now because I'm talking about this subject, it's now affecting my speech because I'm aware of what I'm saying. I'm aware of the control that I normally have with this problem that I've got, and it's not a problem. It's actually I think it's helped me a lot in life to come to terms with it, because it comes out in my artwork, and it comes out in other ways as well. And I think it's important to be able to talk about and share and be honest with people. And life isn't all perfect. We can't all be the same. We haven't all got the same intelligence and stuff like that. And some people laugh, are really comical on the outside, like little comedians, and they joke and lot, but they're crying on the inside because they're suffering with depression and anxiety, and it's horrible. And it's something I've suffered with over the last several years, is severe anxiety, and this is where my painting comes in to help me out a lot. In fact, let me just drop this light down a touch. There we go. So I want to put a little bit of yellow in the sky, maybe just a touch of. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to paint over the blue because it's going to go slightly green, I think. But I want to put a little bit of yellow just in the sky like that, just to catch the eye a bit, just to catch it, just makes it look a little bit different. Yeah, so don't worry about it. You know, it's at the end of the day, you have to adapt. We as human beings, we tend to adapt very, very well with the circumstances. And don't forget to keep this line straight. I'm not using any guides to do that. I'm just going to go as straight as I can, because these paintings don't get kept at all. They get painted over, and in fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's get a little bit of brown, and let's just put a bit of land or something there. Maybe it's a bit of a coastline or something. That just helps me not worry about my sea so much. There you go. Let's just darken that up just a bit more Prussian blue than there. A bit more Prussian blue. Yeah, so don't worry, don't let things get you. At the end of the day, life gets better as you get older. You understand more things, and you come to terms. You learn to live. You learn to live with your imperfections, and one of the reasons I say that is because we've all got imperfections. There's always something that. Nobody's perfect, is what I'm trying to say. And the thing is, it's the same with your painting as well. What you find with painting is you need to relax a bit into it, and just let things happen sometimes. And things happen for a reason. Things happen for a reason. You know, they really do. There's a lot of things happen sometimes, and we think that are hard at the time, but then we realize that as time goes on, that sometimes that things happen for a reason, basically. So let's just get some more. I'm going to use some ultramarine blue now down here, just changing the flavour of the water up a bit like that. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more ready it's a bit more red biased in the water there. There's a little bit, it's got a bit more of a reddy, purpley type of colour to it. There we go. And I like to talk about things sometimes, that life events and stuff that go on, and share things with yourselves, because a lot of you have been with me for many years now, watching me painting, and it's not just about painting with me. It's more about the experience and the sharing of what we do, and if I can share a little bit of my life with people, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I think being able to talk and share these things helps everybody. It really helps a lot of people grow. I've had so many people saying, I understand where you're coming from, and I know what it's like, and you know, and it's nice to see somebody that's genuinely trying to help as well, not just through painting, but trying to give a little bit of life experience sometimes, maybe. I don't know. Is it? We got burnt umber and our VANDYKE brown, which I haven't used yet, so I thought I might put a bit of sand here. Let's just get a bit of sand in the water. A little bit of a beach area. There we go. Let's put a bit of Naples brown. Naples yellow, sorry, Naples brown. It's not Naples brown, it's Naples yellow. Put a bit of Naples yellow there, like that. So we've got a sea coming on. We've got a little bit of landmass up there in the background. We've got some waves and things, and that's all good. I'm just going to change my brush a little bit now. I'm really enjoying myself today. So I'm going to paint some rocks in. No, this is quite a strange thing that I'm going to be doing, just for you to know. I'll show you what I mean in a minute now. I'm just going to put some light colour just down here like this. There we go. And I'm going to get some, I think it says burnt umber, put a few rocks in the water like this. I can hear a chicken or a cockerel out there, or cock-a-doodle-doo. Alright. I'm not using any black today, so maybe a bit of Prussian blue here and there, just to darken things up. If you get a little bit of burnt umber, bit of Prussian blue, burnt umber and Prussian blue. If you do that, there you go. You now made yourself a nice black colour. There you look, nice black. See? So no need to go out and buy loads of paint. Sometimes you can make black for many different colours, and there's loads of videos that I've done on colour mixing if you want to know that. Just little blobs of paint. Doesn't have to mean much at all. Don't have to mean much at all. So let's get a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white. Just changing my brush again. Right, I'm going to go into... So I hope, you know, what I mentioned earlier about my dyslexia and stuff like that is, I hope this helped, because as I said, I was ridiculed a lot and bullied when I was young, and it was all basically because of that. That's basically what it came down to. But what do we do? Well, at the time, it's like the worst thing that ever happened to you, and we never think that things can get better, and we never think that things are going to improve, and we can only see what we see. But as time goes, we tend to heal, and as time goes, we tend to understand more. And it's a bit like a painting, really. Our life is life's a painting. Life comes in many stages. Every decade we change, we grow, we mature, we understand more, and life does eventually work out, I think. So just putting a bit of shadow here and there. Didn't use much yellow after. So we get these ideas in our brain sometimes, and we think, yeah, we can do that, and then things change. As like I said, life is very, very similar to a painting. It changes and develops. Don't fight the painting. Let the painting just come to life. Go with what seems right at the time. And before you know it, little brush strokes can be defining parts of the painting. It's not the whole picture. It's the little tiny differences that we make that change everything. And as I said, it's a bit like life. Just concentrate on the little things and they'll grow. Thank you very much for joining me in the studio today. Sorry I've been waffling a bit, but I hope you've enjoyed that. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.